Hello everybody! Halloween is this weekend and I'm going to make some sugar cookies. This is a very special recipe. It's a very old recipe. It's from my mom's aunt. We've always known it as Auntie Sophie's sugar cookies. But the funny thing is, it was actually Uncle Gus. He was in fact the one who made the cookies. So the fact that it's called Auntie Sophie sugar cookies, you know, it's a misnomer and maybe a bit sexist that we would call it Auntie Sophie's. Maybe I should call it Uncle Steve's sugar cookie recipe. It's just a really great, simple, solid recipe that is so tried and true. I've made this so many times. It's pretty no fail. I've even made it with gluten-free flour and it was awesome. I'm gonna get started on my dough. First step in a sugar cookie is to cream your butter. So what I have here is 1 cup of room temperature butter. Just put my butter right in there. And the next ingredient in any sugar cookie, besides the butter, is the sugar. And that is 1.5 cups of white sugar. I'm just going to beat this until it's sort of light and fluffy. All right, that looks good. So now I'm gonna add my eggs one at a time. So I've got 3 large eggs. Okay, and now I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. There we go. So that's got the 3 eggs and the vanilla in there. So I've got 3 cups of flour here. I've got half a teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. So I'm just gonna add the salt and the baking powder in with my flour and just give it a little bit of a mix. Now I'm just going to add about half of this flour. Just a bit too much to add it all at once. And now I'm just gonna add the rest of my flour. No. You can stay up there, sir. So my dough is looking pretty great. Because there's so much sugar in this recipe, the dough is obviously very sticky. So I've got a nice ball of dough, just like that. Take the ball and I'm going to sort of flatten it into a disc so that it's easy to roll out. Now I'm just going to take this giant ball and I'm going to just separate it into 2. And I like to wrap my balls in wax paper. So as you can see, I'm just giving that a pat just to flatten it out. And then I'm just going to fold it over. And this will also make it chill a little bit faster as well because it's not a thick ball, it's more of a flattened ball. Okay, I am back. I took a little Golden Girls break to let my dough chill. So what I've done now is I've taken my dough and I'm gonna roll it out on this wax paper. I like to make sure that both sides of my dough are really nice and coated in flour. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to roll it out to about a 1/4 inch thickness. The other good thing about the wax paper is that you can actually move your entire slab of dough. So I thought I had a pumpkin cookie cutter, but it turns out, alas, I do not. So I'm just going to use this circle cookie cutter, and then I'll kind of just fashion them into little pumpkins. I can make little stems and just attach them like that. You are cutting out cookies from your dough. You want to make sure that you cut each cookie as close as possible to the last cookie, because when you've gone to the trouble of chilling your dough and of rolling your dough out to the perfect thickness, you really don't want to have too much waste in terms of just the in-between bits. So all I'm doing now is I'm just cutting out some small little stems. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm just sticking my little pumpkin stems on top. And sometimes you will find that if you're sticking dough to dough, you'll find it doesn't stick very well. Just a little tiny drop of water should do it. Just put a little drop of water and then stick it down and it should be fine. Okay, so I have popped all of my pumpkin stems onto my pumpkins. These puff up a little bit, so you want to make sure you give them, you know, enough space, maybe about 1 inch or so in between. So now I'm going to pop them into a 350-degree oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. These ones to me are looking pretty perfect. They're a little bit golden just around the bottom part of the cookie. I'll show you a couple of them. They're pretty cute. If you look at the back, that's approximately how golden they should look. Step 2 will be tomorrow. So until then, Jeez, no, stay there. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. I'm now ready to ice my pumpkins. So the first thing I need to do is I need to make the icing. So when it comes to making icing for my sugar cookies, I really just wing it. Stay there. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start adding in the milk. So what we're looking for is we're just looking for a consistency that is not too runny and that is not too solid. So I'm gonna add another one, and it's starting to really come together now. When you get to the point there where it's kind of gloppy like that, you're getting close. You don't want to be adding a ton of milk after this. That looks really good. That might be just perfect. You can see what I'm doing there. I'm really just sort of spreading it as evenly as I can around my cookie. I've got here a lovely array of sprinkles. So I've got the 2 green ones for the stem. For the pumpkin part, I have got these super vibrant orange ones. I want to do the sprinkling on top of the bowl so that the excess just goes straight into the bowl. So there's the first one. It's cute, it's simple. So you can see you can do these really fast when you're just spreading them. And this one, I'm actually going to do all jimmies all the time. So it's the little green jimmies for the top and then the orange ones for the pumpkin. Cookie number 2. The second half of my cookies I want to do a little bit fancier. Made up another small batch of icing and I've put it in a sandwich bag. I have the proper tip. So long as you've got the proper tips, you can use any kind of a plastic bag. So what I'm doing for these ones is essentially I'm going to be piping a line of icing around my pumpkin. So when you're piping onto a cookie, you don't want to drag your tip across the cookie. You want to get her started, and then you just want to be about 1/4 inch off your cookie. And essentially you're squeezing and you're just kind of dragging it around the cookie. And then I'm just taking my cookie, basically dousing it in orange. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pipe a little design on the stem and dip it in the green sprinkles. Oh, they're pretty adorable. So I have just added some black to the last of my icing. So I'm just going to give this pumpkin a face. Well, let's give him a little triangle, and then he is done. I actually think he's pretty funky. These things take a little practice. I think he's pretty cute though. So for these last ones, I just decided to write boo. Just like so, pretty cute. So these cookies need to sit out overnight. With cats, that's going to be a challenging prospect. So the recipe's on the website, so just head on over to bakewithmetv.com to get that and make these yourself. Aunt Sophie and Uncle Steve sugar cookies. I do hope you try this recipe. I think you'll like it. Let me know if you do. I'd love to hear about it. Cheers!